Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. Hi, thank you for joining me. This here is Shavonda Marie with Love, Strength, and Love. My phone want to get the ringing right when I get ready to come on live. What type of stuff is that? But anyways, you guys, I have one of my very own special guests. I'm gonna go ahead and let her introduce herself.
Hello, everybody. So, my name is Farina Brooks. For those that don't know me, I am founder and executive director of Dream Team United WI, which is a nonprofit organization. Our mission is to provide support, groceries, whatever we can to our community, and just to be a presence in the community, a positive image of what it should look like in a community.
Yes. Yes, y'all. That's why we out here making a difference. We using the different connections because within the community, you get to meet so many different people,
Yes,
especially when you networking.
that
So,
part.
yes, it's a beautiful thing. So, like I said before, we're talking about making a difference using connections. Okay. Um, when we move with intention, love, and authenticity, those are the same connections that shift our families, communities, and even the generations. So we make a difference. Yes. All of us together make a difference. We all have to come together as a whole and for in order for it all to work out, the unity. So with that being said, we don't always allow ourselves to use our connections to our fullest potential, but do know that they are powerful. Connections are bridges between connections are bridges between us. They carry opportunities, healing, growth, and purpose. So you all, we're gonna tap into Miss Brooks. We want to know how is it that she's showing up, building up, and pouring into the community and herself. So we gonna ask you a couple
Uh,
questions, but not a
Let's go.
couple because I got a few. I like to
Okay,
dig
let's go.
deep.
Let's go. Let's go. I'm gonna answer the best of my ability.
Alrighty. So, what does making a difference truly mean to you on a personal level?
To me, making a difference means, for me, it's not forgetting where I came from. Um, it's remembering the struggle that I had.
Mm,
It's remembering that, as a young girl, um, you know, my sister and myself, my god sister, we kind of had to fend for ourselves.
right.
And being young teenagers back at that time, it wasn't the way it is now. But
Mm-mm.
we did what he had to do, to survive.
Right.
Nothing illegal. We never did anything illegal because we didn't
Yeah.
want to have to go to jail.
Right.
But there was a lot that went on in my life that I look back now and say, wow, I wish I had had. We had the playground, things like that, but we didn't have people to pour into us.
right.
We did, but we did it like we
Right.
do now.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, that means a lot to me. I feel like my purpose is really to love on people
Right.
because, although I was loved, I wasn't loved if you didn't
Right.
understand that. And so for me, being 68 years old,
Aww.
I feel like, I need to be that person, because they talk about the big mamas and things
Yep.
like that. And we don't have a lot of them anymore because a
No.
lot of them are still trying to find out who they are.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's no fault to them. There's no bad issues about that. But, you can't teach the younger generation,
Right.
right? The right way if you don't know it yourself.
Yep.
And that's because it's just systematically set up that way, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, my heart is to just really love on the people that we serve. I tell them all the time, I used to be who you are.
Right.
So I don't, when they come to an event, there's no like, you can't do this, you can't do that. We do tell them you have to be respectful.
Right.
But basically, that's it. I want them to be able to be them because I know when I was coming up, if I was going to go to anything, if I couldn't be me, meaning, drinking, smoking with, that kind of
Right.
thing. I'm not coming, and my kids not coming. And so I want people to be able to be who they are, and I will say that yes, I am. I am definitely a Christian. I say a lot of times I'm a hood Christian, and the reason why I say it
Look,
like
we a
that,
lot
a
of
lot of people laugh when I say that, but I
those.
say that because I am, I'm still like God's still working on me also, but
Yeah.
I understand that what He brought me through it so that I can help the next person that might be going
Yes.
through what I'm going through. And I tell
Yes.
people all the time, like, I don't have a paper degree
Right.
on anything. I have a life degree because I've
Woo.
lived all of it, from sexual assault to drug abuse to alcohol to domestic violence to anything you think of. Just
Right.
about, I've lived it, and so I know that if I can survive and I can make it through, my goal is to hopefully help others, and that's what the dream team is all about. Most of us have been there. We've been almost homeless. We've been, you know, what we see, we've been there. We've
Right.
lived it. And so
Right.
our whole focus, is to give people hope and encourage
Yes.
them and let them know, hey, you know what? You might be down right now, but you can get back up. Right? It just
Yes.
takes some love, some understanding, and really listening with the heart and not always
Mm.
the ear.
Yes. That's really making a difference. And again, I just got to thank you because again, a lot of people like you said, there's not a lot of big mamas out here
Hmm.
anymore. A lot of those that just say I'm going to be the head of the family and we're going to do things in a traditional way. Well, what's traditional for us?
Right.
Or make up our own traditions, create
Hmm.
our own traditions. But everybody's just still out here learning. They're still
Yeah.
figuring themselves out. So again, I appreciate you for even just getting out here into the community and being able to give us that. When I first seen you, I was like, "Oh, she remind me of my granny," and I started talking to you. I was like, "Man, she remind me of my granny."
Hmm.
And it's like now I got a community granny. Hey, granny! I got my granny at home.
Yeah.
My other granny, she's deceased. My great granny, but I'm picking up grannies. I'm picking up siblings. I'm picking up brothers. I mean, aunties and uncles
Hmm.
out in the community because, again, it starts at home, but it don't end there. So I thank you. We got to clap for her, y'all. So when did you hear, um, when you hear the word connection, right? What comes to your mind? Is it relationships or is it networking or is it just something else?
For me, connection is networking,
Mm.
but you can't network unless you build a relationship.
Right, right.
And so, for me, it's just really being connected to other people, learning, because even though I'm 68, I'm still
Mhm.
learning, right?
Mhm.
And I have, people laugh because I'll be like, a lot of my mentors is younger than me.
Right,
And the
man.
reason
That's
why I say that is
that's
because
beautiful.
we have to have, older generation, we have to understand, like, we can't be saying, well, they don't have no wisdom. They ain't been through nothing.
Right.
Well, the whole thing is if we don't learn from them, we are not able to connect with them. We are not able to build a relationship. So, therefore, how can we help them if we don't even know what they need? If we don't understand where
Exactly.
they're coming from? And
Right.
it's not like what we came from is totally different from
It
that
is.
now. It's no longer like that. I have a 28-year-old grandson, and he said, Nana,
Wow.
he called me Nana. He said, Nana, he said, shoot, this generation, I don't even understand it, right? And he's 28, because it's so much more like so much more that they're dealing with. And
Yes.
so if we don't get to know them and understand them and gain wisdom and knowledge from them, we literally cannot help them. We just
Right.
can't. We can give them our knowledge and wisdom that we have, but
Right.
we also have to learn from them, and together with our knowledge and theirs together, that hopefully will help to make a difference and make a change.
Right. And I really agree with you on that. Like my kids, they're younger than me. I learn from them. I learn from all different age group. The kids
Hmm.
that from the running rebels, I learn from kids out that I just speak to in the street and they're going through certain things or they're not. They're just
Right,
happy. I'm
right,
still
right.
learning from them.
Hmm.
So I agree with you on that. It takes us to be able to connect to them
Hmm.
or with them. That's so beautiful. Mm, mm, mm.
Yeah.
So, can you share a moment with us when there has been a connection for you that has changed your life?
You mean a connection in the community or?
Just within yourself, within someone, a person, someone personally, or out in the community, whichever one that you would
Um,
like to share with us that changed your life.
I'll give you a personal one and a community one.
Okay, cool.
So I was raised up in church,
Okay.
um, and I felt like um, church is supposed to be a hospital to help,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not what I got out of the church.
Mm.
And so for probably over 20 years, I wouldn't step foot in a church. Like I
Right.
just didn't go to church because I was like, when I go to church, I don't need to be beat. I'm already hurting. I don't need to be beat down some more.
Yes.
And so I quit going to church. And when 2004, I think it was when they declared war, my son was in the military, and
Mm.
he had to go to Iraq. And I said, Lord, I don't even have a church home,
Mm.
right? And so I began to visit churches. And when I got to, it's no longer Park Lawn, but it was Park Lawn Embassy Center with 2005. And when I got there, like I visited some churches because, I came up a certain way. So that's what I
Right.
was still respecting, but it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
that anymore. And so when I got there, and I'll never forget the first time I actually was able to talk to Pastor Harvey. He's now Bishop Harvey,
Okay.
face to face. And I said to him, I said, I really went up for prayer. I said, but every church I go to, it ain't prayer like that no more, right?
Right.
And I said, because I'm not ready to be saved. And he looked at me, and
Uh.
it amazed me because he didn't even, like, I'm used to, in the name of Jesus, and we laying hands, and
Right.
he didn't do none of that. He calmly said to me, he said, let me ask you a question. He said, you believe Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior? I said, yeah, I believe
Mm.
that. He said, do you think he died? You believe he died on the cross for you? I said, I do.
Mm.
And that's all he said. And I said, wow,
That
that
did.
really amazed me.
So what did you get out
And
of that?
so I tell him all the time now, I say, Dad, you tricked me. You led me to Christ, and I didn't even realize it, right? And me and him laugh about that. But that was one thing that really made an impression on me, and it really, like, I've learned so much and grown so much because, you know, it is a church where you're taught and not
Right.
preached to. And so when I was coming up, you might catch two or three of the words when they got through hooping and
Mm-hmm.
hollering,
Yeah.
but that's all you going to get. And so, that right there was amazing, and I'm glad because I've had some health issues. 2009,
Oh.
I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure, and my
Mm.
heart was so weak. I
Wow.
had to wear I call it a portable defibrillator.
Okay.
Um, it's called a life vest, and what that is it's a vest that you wear so that if anything happens, it'll shock you back to life. And I
Wow.
had to wear it for 6 months. And then in
Wow.
2018, I had second stage lung cancer,
Mm.
which 6 months later, I was cancer free, and I'm still cancer free to this day. So
Let's
that the
go.
life things, that those are the things right there that kind of, um, you know, gave me a reason to push on even more to do
Right.
what I'm doing. And there's many situations that have happened, but there's one that always sticks in my mind, and well, actually, it's two. One is Thanksgiving Day. Um, like we do a big event on 35th and Center, and this year will
Okay.
be our 8th year coming up this year,
Okay.
Thanksgiving. And so one year, there had been a shooting on 36th and Center, and there was a little boy and his mother that was caught in the crossfire. Thank
Mm.
God they didn't get hurt
Right.
physically. And so, because we were out there, the aunt came over and she was talking to Saquana Taylor, and she was telling her that the little boy was scared to come outside. He wouldn't come outside. He hadn't been
Mm.
outside. And because he seen us over there, and nephew Von Mays was doing s'mores.
Right.
That's why we say you never know what's going to draw people.
Mm-hmm.
Those s'mores is what drew that baby out of the house. He wanted to
Aww.
make s'mores. And I'll never forget that. Like, there, and we begin to pray, and you know, So kind of just hugged him and grabbed him and just began to pray. And we all stood in a circle, and
Right.
that there was not a dry eye out there. And everybody,
Oh.
everybody don't believe in religion, whatever. We
Right.
don't push that, right? That's
Right.
not what we're there for. But there was not a dry eye from that. And
Oh.
another thing was, there was another time on Thanksgiving, and I think it was right in the beginning of Thanksgiving, and one of the other ladies, Sherry Leah Fuqua, um, I had left to go somewhere. When I came back, because I was like, I ain't doing this no more next year. I'm done. Nothing ain't going like it's supposed to. But I didn't tell nobody.
Right.
And she was feeling the same way. She didn't tell nobody. So we
Mm.
didn't know how we both felt. But what ended up happening is during that time I was gone, there was a man that came through the tent.
Mm.
And she said that he came through that tent, and when he got over there to her, he began to tell her, how he had went and pick and save, and he seen our flyer, and earlier that day he had went to the liquor store and he's getting ready to steal something, and this guy seen him and he paid for it, and he told him, God bless you.
Oh.
And so when he went to pick and say he was getting ready to steal something, and he seen our flyer, and he changed his mind, and so he came to the tent, and he told her that he was very rude to each and every last person in that tent
Oh.
that was serving. And then he, as a man, and didn't know her from Timbuktu, he began to cry, and he told her, he
Oh.
said, you know, there's so much love in this tent. He said, I got to go back and apologize to all those people.
Yes.
He said, thank y'all for doing what you're doing.
Yes.
So it's moments like that that really keep us going,
Right.
and keep us thriving the way we are. Because we don't really get money like that, right?
Right.
A lot of it comes out of our pockets.
Mm.
And because of our love for the community, we don't let that stop us. We do what we have to do because of
Right.
our love for the community. And there was one more situation where we were out on right across, out off of 76 and Brown Deer. We were doing one of our giveaways, and this white guy came. And we were at the end, and we really didn't have a lot left. And he said, I really wasn't going to come. He said, because I didn't think y'all would serve me. And we was like,
Mm.
what do you mean? He said, because I work in corporate office. And he drove up in a nice car, all of that.
Right.
And so we were like, well, we don't have a lot left.
Right.
But Saquana had some stuff, and she gave it to this guy. And I'll never forget this. He laid his head on her shoulder, and he had tears coming down.
Oh.
And he said, thank y'all so much. And we was like, we don't care if you drive up in a Rolls Royce.
Right.
That don't mean you don't need no food.
Exactly.
And sometimes it's not even the food they want. It's just because
The love.
we're consistent and they know our hearts.
Mhm.
And they have came to us and told us many stories.
Right.
Right. And we just love on them because we understand.
Right.
It don't mean nothing just because they driving a new car. That don't mean they don't need some food at home.
Right.
We ain't there to judge.
Mm.
We're there to
Mm.
serve the
Mm.
community and show love. That's it.
Right. That's it, you guys. Now that's what you call making a difference. Like a real difference. And again, we need that in our lives. Like everybody. You heard her. She don't care if you roll up in a new car or not. If you need the food, that's why they're there. And when it comes down to it, they're making a difference. And they're connecting with different people, and they're able to do it on their own. So we're going to go to commercial, you guys, and we'll be back.
Clutter piling up? Need a fresh start? And you want someone you can trust. Let the Queens of Clean take care of it all. Queens Organize Things, Inc. We don't just clean, we connect with our clients, tailoring every service to fit your unique needs. Basic cleaning services start at just $40 an hour. Need more? We do it all, from home, office, and commercial spaces to event cleanup and remodeling to create a beautiful space. Our organizing services start at $60 an hour. Call or email us today to book your appointment now. Queens Organize Things, where clean meets calm, turn your chaos into order, and giving you back some time.
Being on Best of the Best TV means your story locked in forever. Sir Quentin know how to make you look official. And if you're watching and sharing, That's how you catch the ones really making noise.
I'm the best thing poppin'. Put me on your podcast. I'ma be the main topic. Your whole city love you. Your swag really rockin'. Gotta shut up and hustle. We ain't tryna hear no talking, nah. Sir Queen in the building. We doing this for the city. So if you need the latest new music, just get it with him. It's all love in the phone, and you know how this go. We the best of the best. We bout to bankroll.
Shut up and hustle.
With you a little bit. Because it's not about that to me. I don't care
Right.
about all that. You know, I don't need no publicity. That ain't it for me.
Right.
I just
dang, we
love the
back on.
community, and that's it.
Right. That's it. That's it. So building meaningful connections, right? What is the difference between using people and building with people?
The using part we've dealt with. We have. You know, sometimes people use you to get where they need to be.
Right.
They use you so they can use what you have.
Right.
I say all the time that I'm blessed for the platform that I have. And I'm not, I'm not a gatekeeper, so I don't have a problem with sharing my resources or whatever with you.
Right.
But don't think that I don't see what you're doing if you're trying to be slick about it, because I do see, but I'm just not one of those type of people where, I'm going to call you out.
Right.
Because in the end, everything comes to the light anyway.
It
All
always
darkness
do.
comes to the light. And so I don't worry about that kind of stuff because, I just feel like I just do what I do, and because of what I do, I mean, I'm going to be honest, like people like, Judge Lena Taylor, who's been there from, when I say day one, she been there from day one. I didn't even know she was a senator. When I found out, she said, "Who your senator?" I said, "You." She said, "No, unfortunately, I'm not your senator." I said, "Well, who is?" Right? But she's been there from day one, for real.
Right.
And once Saquana came on board, like she's been there from day one. So
Shots out.
I love them ladies. They are so amazing. They so down to earth. They so boots to the ground, and I love them for that. And Charlotte Moore, before she was even alderperson or anything, like she actually has been there when we did our first Thanksgiving thing. She was there. She's been there since the beginning. And there's a lot of other ones that I really, I tell them all the time, like, I don't even feel like I'm worthy,
Right.
to be in y'all's presence. And they were like, "Why you say that?" I said, "Because look at little old me and where I came from, and look at
Man,
y'all,
that
right?"
ain't
And they was like,
nothing.
"But we came from a place too, right?" So, I don't take that for granted.
Right.
I don't. Michelle Pitts, I love her to death. I love her.
Aw.
Y'all keep Miss Michelle in your prayers.
Yes.
She's going through right now, but she's still standing tall and doing what she need to do.
Oh,
So keep her in
yes.
prayer, and I love her. I love her. Miss Michelle
Yes,
Pitts
we
is
got you in our
amazing.
prayers.
She helps. Oh my God, she gives so back to the community, and I love her.
Yes.
Not because of that, but just because of her heart is genuine.
So, question, right? So, because you have these people and they're just so amazing and you're connected with them, right? What kind of qualities do you look for in people when you choose to work with them or even connect with them on
The
a
love
personal
for the
level?
community.
Okay.
You gotta have
The
a love for
love.
the community. Is because I don't do egos.
Right.
I'm not down with egos.
Okay.
If it's all about clout to you, and I have to shout out, I have to shout out Nephew Von Mays, and I also have to shout out Gabby Taylor.
Shots
Because
out.
they too were there with me in the beginning. I mean, they sit down, they told me everybody's name, who's what they go to, all of that. Like they really, and they have really, like they really been instrumental. In me,
Right.
and I tease them all the time. Now I'll be like, "Ain't y'all glad I ain't got to work y'all nerve no more?" And that's just what they do. They laugh. But I don't. I give credit to everybody who has been a blessing to
Right.
me and have helped me to get to where I am. And I would be remiss if I didn't give God the glory first, because
Yes.
it's all because of Him, because the vision He gave me, and it all started because there was a 16-year-old young man that was shot. I didn't know nothing about him. He wasn't the first person that ever got shot and killed on 36, 39th to Center. But something happened when he got shot, and I was like angry, like, why the churches ain't doing more? And God spoke to me and he said, because you are the church.
Right.
It's not the building, it's you.
Yeah. Yes.
He said, so this, I have given you everything you need.
Yes.
So you go
tools.
out and you do what you need to do.
Ooh.
And so I'll never forget it. They had a vigil for the young man, and I went to the vigil, and I connected with his mom, and at the time his dad, and I said, I would love to do something for that young man.
Right.
And so they said, okay. And I didn't know at the time that he was a part of Programs in the Parks, because I did used to be up at Sherman Park with nephew Vine and Gabby a lot.
Okay.
And so he told me that was one of their children, one of their babies. I said, oh, wow. And so we connected with the mom, and, you know, it was all God led. Everything I do, I like, God gives me these visions, and sometimes I have to wonder, like, is you sure God this really do? Like, for real, that's what you really want me to do? For real, you want me to do that, right? And so he gave me the vision to unite with some pastors to do a peace prayer walk. And so the pastors came, and they were like, you know, it's your faith that made this happen. And so as we're walking, his mom, like, because she had told me, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this whole walk.
Right.
And so as we're walking, people from the neighborhood were just joining in the walk. It was beautiful. So in the end, there were so many people that joined in the walk. And she said, you know what? I didn't know so many people cared about my son.
Yes.
And so from day one, I told her, I said, you know, your son's life would not be, it would not be just he died and that's it.
Right.
I said, it's up to you, though. Whatever you want to do, that's what we would do every year.
Right.
I said, but it's based on what you want to do, because I don't like when people do things. They say they're doing it for the family.
Right.
Family don't know nothing about it.
Right.
You know, you just out there doing it, and the family like, well, how come I didn't know?
Right.
And that's one thing I would never do that. Like, you know, I always ask the mom, what is it that you want to do?
Right.
Every year. And so every year we have an event to honor him. I miss my boy Keon. I have to bring his name. I miss him. I miss Keon so much.
Aww.
The big teddy bear with his raspous voice. You know, when he passed, that just, man, it messed me up, because we hadn't planned this big event. Like, he had a big event every year on Atkinson Park. And the first year, I ain't gonna ever come over there. Now, you know, you got to come over here. I said, okay, what I'm doing. You got to be over the food. I don't, wait.
Aww.
What you mean I got to be over something? What? So, you know, we started doing that on Atkinson. And that year, we already had planned the event. And everybody was like, you still got to do it. No, I don't do that.
Right.
I said, if his mom and them don't want to do it, we're not doing anything. But y'all planned it. I don't care.
Right.
It's not about us.
Right.
It's about this family. I said, because what y'all don't get is that when you have a family member that, like Keon, or any family member, and there's things that people do to honor them, what you have to get is that they have to relive everything all over again.
Yes, all over again.
It's not like, oh, we're just doing this today and that's it. No.
Yep.
They have to relive it all over again.
Yep.
And so to them, it's their loved one. To you, it's a person that did what they did in the community or whatever.
Right.
And so I honor that part of it.
Right.
Because I think people have to understand, when you say you honor somebody, you're honoring that person's life, like who they were when they were alive.
Yes.
And most of the time, you know, a person of that caliber, it's hard on their families when you're doing things in their honor. So that's why you always have to make sure it's okay with them, because, listen, they the ones that got to still deal with this, because it brings back, when I say, it literally brings back everything. And I know because I had a sister that she did a lot of things in her hometown, and she passed at 48. And I tell you, it was hard, because to us, she was our loved one.
Right.
We knew what she did in the community, but at that time, it kind of went over our head because at the time we were like, she had a brain aneurysm, so she was on life support. And so we were just like, that's where we were at that point. And so
Right.
it didn't dawn like at the point it wasn't about, you know, the stuff she did in the community and all of that. And so it was like every time we did anything, like it brought back, that day, that memory. And so that's why I do
You know
things the
that
way I do
feeling.
it, because I know the feeling. I know how it feels,
Yep.
that you got to relive this all over again, and so that's why it's always good to make sure it's okay with them, because then they kind of can prepare themselves, because it does bring back memories.
Right. So I got a question. How do you build trust with new relationships or in new relationships?
Being honest and being humble.
So can you tell the viewers out here, right? Because a lot of them don't really understand when you say trust and honesty. Where do that start?
Being humble, first of all, is remembering who you are, where you came from, and never look at somebody any different or lower than you,
Right.
because somebody had to help you get to where you are.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so you always have to make sure that you are humble in yourself,
Mm-hmm.
because at any moment you can be back in that place,
Oh,
and you might need somebody to help you.
yes.
Or you might need somebody might help your loved one the same way. Right. And then the honesty part is just really being honest and transparent with
Right.
people,
Yes.
And I tell people in the heartbeat, I say, listen, I ain't got it all together.
Right.
God's still working on me, but I do the best I can to, and I don't. That's one thing I don't do, is I don't push religion and God and all that on people. Don't get me
Yes.
wrong, I love God because
Right.
He's been good to me.
Yep.
But to me, it is showing them
Mm-hmm.
love.
Yes. So I got a question. Another question. I always got questions. That's what
Okay, I'm
it's
ready,
an
I'm ready,
interview.
I'm ready,
you
I'm
know?
ready.
So you started a network and a platform. What made you start that? Was it the fact that you was going through it all on your own in the community and you wanted to be more in the
Because
community?
of what happened to that young man, and I felt like I needed to do something, because I felt like as a Christian, like I said, I was a little upset because I felt like some of the churches needed to be doing more.
Right.
And I didn't look at the fact that, girl, you are the church.
Right.
You are that person that could get out there and show them love without preaching and all of that,
Yep.
And so just, trying to do whatever God has called on me to do, and the way He's called on me to do it. And, He has brought the people forth to help.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just really, truly a blessing. Like I don't see myself as this person that everybody see me as.
Right.
I don't. I see myself as a person who dealt with alcohol, who dealt with drugs, who dealt with sexual abuse, who dealt with everything that everybody else has had to deal with.
Right.
And wishing I had, I had people there that cared, but wishing I'd have had things like this for
Right.
me. And, so I said, well, I all I can do is try to take the negative and turn it around to positive.
That's
for,
it.
For
That's
others, and
it.
just love on people, and especially young people, because, I did used to volunteer at City on the Hill for some years with
Right.
the young people, and they taught me a lot too, because they were the young people that, at risk young people, and they taught me a lot.
Right.
Just from listening to them, and the things that they had to deal with and had to go through. And I was like, man, I thought I went through some stuff, right?
Right.
But the stories they told, it just teared me up. And so
Right.
I would, every Tuesday I would go and I would volunteer. I'd be done worked 8 hours, driving the school bus, and I would go and I volunteer my time every Tuesday.
Now, that's what you guys call love, real love, commitment, dedication. And she started that from with her. She built up that strength why she's on love, strength, and love, because she's gathered the love for herself, and now she's out here in the community and she's helping others strengthen her love. That's why I wanted you on here. Like literally, I'm like, I gotta get Miss Brooks. I have to get Miss Brooks. She is really making a difference. And
Well,
I'm
thank
seeing
you.
her connecting to everybody else and doing it. We gonna go on commercial, y'all, and then we'll be back and talk a little bit more about the love and the energy that she give.
Clutter piling up? Need a fresh start? And you want someone you can trust. Let the Queens of Clean take care of it all. Queens Organize Things, Inc. We don't just clean, we connect with our clients, tailoring every service to fit your unique needs. Basic cleaning services start at just $40 an hour. Need more? We do it all, from home, office, and commercial spaces to event cleanup and remodeling to create a beautiful space. Our organizing services start at $60 an hour. Call or email us today to book your appointment now. Queens Organize Things, where clean meets calm, turn your chaos into order, and giving you back some time.
Welcome to Sir Quentin Cinema, where the grind meets the big screen. We capture the hustle, the vision, the vibe. Lock in today. Call 414-378-9001. Sir Quentin Cinema. Shut up and hustle.
Shut up and hustle.
He said, and God is okay with that.
Right. Exactly. That's how you have to be able to receive it. Let us just come and show you and feed you that love, because you give it to so many other people. You deserve to have it too.
Yeah, well, I'll be like,
You just being your authentic you. I be being my authentic too, but
That's
I
it.
didn't learn how to say, "Oh, thank you. You're so sweet. Can I have just a little bit more? I just needed a little bit today. Can I just have a hug today?" That's I didn't used to. I be like, I ain't asking, and then they'll just give it to me. But it's like, no, I'm asking because I love your energy. I love how you pour into people. So can I have that hug? I need it today. So, have you ever disconnected from someone just to protect your peace?
oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, in
Yes, ma'am.
what you do, you pretty much have to at least.
Um, I kind of just shut down.
Okay.
I give you a perfect example. When I was going through cancer, and shouts out to my spiritual mom, Lady Judy Harvey,
Oh,
and she said to me, she said, daughter, she said, listen, if anybody start talking to you negative, you need to shut them down.
yes.
Just shut them down. And so I literally had to do that because I had a lady saying to me, well, you ain't going to be able to work because you got chemo and blah, blah, and this and that. And I just had to shut it down and
Right.
just not, communicate because I didn't need the negativity.
Yes.
I needed positivity.
Yes.
And so yeah. And I've had to shut down. So people like just kind of go silent
Right.
and just kind of move away a little bit.
Right.
But it's very rare that I have to do that.
Right.
Because my heart is just so
And it
big,
comes
and
back around.
it's just from where I came from.
Right.
And so that tells a lot about why I do what I do, how I
Yep.
do what I do it, because of where I came from. Man, I
Right.
mean, sometimes I just think about where I came from.
It's beautiful
And,
that you came from there, though, because you
just-
wouldn't be able to be here and
Listen.
help us and share these stories.
Sometimes sometimes I just cry because I think
Right.
about, this little girl that came up, raised in church, but yet was molested many times as a child.
Right.
I love my mom. God rest her soul. She was the best mom that she could be, but
Right.
she did the best she could. But a lot of times, because of her situation, she couldn't be there like she wanted to be.
Right.
My dad wasn't. I didn't have a dad. My dad wasn't really in my life, and so, we grew up dysfunctional. But at the time, we didn't know nothing about it being
Right.
dysfunctional. And I tell people, like, you gotta understand, like, when you grow up dysfunctional, that's what you know.
Yep.
Because
That's
these
the
are the
norm.
people that love you.
Yep. That's
And
the
this is what
norm.
you see.
Yep.
And so I had an uncle and a cousin, and so they were kind of like my father figure. And every Thursday they would get paid, and they would drink, and they would match money, and
Right.
then at the end they'd be ready to fight. So we just thought that was a normal life,
Right.
okay? But we found out later that that wasn't normal. But I
Right.
didn't know that. Like you don't, so that's why I'm sympathetic about things like that, because I
Right.
understand that if that's how
Yes.
you grow up, to you that's the norm. I
That's
don't
what it
care what
is.
people think. Like they know that's wrong. They know they're going to jail.
Right.
If the people that's supposed to be teaching you, that love you, supposed to love on you, if that's what you learn, then that's
what
all you know.
Yeah.
You don't know no different. And so that's where I'm at, and that's why I don't judge, these kids or none of that, because to me, it's we got to figure out as a village how to be that village
Yes.
for them, how to be that community. And I applaud not just me, but everybody that's out here working, putting the work in, trying to make a difference, especially for our children. There's so many of us that's out here doing the work.
Right.
I hats off to my brother and my friend Andre Lee Ellis. He does so much. My nephew Von Mays, Quabana, Moab, like all of them, like
Yes. Shots out family.
Aziz, like what he just did with these young people. Sometimes the media they irk me, because it's like there was a whole positive event going
And
on,
they
and
didn't
that you
even
want
say
to
nothing
focus on the
about it.
negative. Like,
Yep.
how come you didn't go inside and show all these young people this in here, right?
Yep.
Like, and so for me, I love what everybody is doing, and I just hope that one day we can all work together to be that village and that community that that we need to be, for the children, just for everybody. That's so, for me, that's my heart is,
Yep.
and that's why I work with any and everybody. If they'd be like, well, people don't work together, I said, well, you can't say that about the Dream Team, because we work with any and everybody. We don't care if you got a problem with them. That ain't got nothing to do with us.
Right.
Like if they're doing positive things, then I feel like we need to work together to be positive.
Right. Okay. I really again appreciate you, but we gotta get ready to wrap this up. I hate to end. I can sit and talk to you all night, Granny.
All
Granny, we do the same
right.
thing. I sit and talk to my granny, like just be talking, like. But it's
And I got to shout out
information.
Victor and Rob, Victor and Dawn. I love y'all. Y'all know I love y'all, man. I love
Yes,
y'all
shout
to
out.
death. You know this. I love you guys. And anytime y'all
Yes.
ask me if I can come and do anything, y'all already know I'm there.
Okay.
I am there because, I love what they're doing. They support. And that's why I don't mind supporting them, because they really support. I love what they're doing.
So that brings
Unity.
me. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but that brings me to the next question, right? If it's people out here that feel like they don't have a network, right? Where can they start? Mr. Vic and Miss Dawn,
Yes.
people like them connected with someone that give you that positive energy. Where else can we go?
Well, you got a whole bunch of organizations out here that's doing some really great things. You got there's I got to give a shout out to Natalie and her people.
Yes, shots
They have a
out.
building called Missing Peace Community Collective, and they do a lot of things down there. She offer allow people to come in and use her building to do all kind of things, and so
Okay.
I love her for that. You got, of course, my nephew Von Mays. I'm always shout him out because that's my nephew. Sorry, y'all. But
Don't be
you know,
sorry. Look,
you
he's
got
doing good.
him and what he's doing.
Right.
You have just so many different organizations. My girl, because a lot of the people that's part of the Dream Team have their own organization,
Right.
and so we are just a bunch of different entities that come together. Sequana got two, Raising Our Village, and what is it, Legacy.
Right.
And then you got so many. I have to shout out. I had to shout out Dr. LaTanya Baker and her
Yes,
generational
shouts out.
excellence. There's so many. Rita Lee, her empowerment. And for me, it's like, we have to applaud each other for the great things we do.
Right.
We can't always focus on the bad things, because
Nope.
ain't no perfect person. We're going to always make mistakes.
Yep.
So for me, I usually just say, you know what? If I know that somebody is I feel like they're weak in one area, then there's another area I can work with them on.
Okay.
And it's about coming together as a community, because to be honest, the system is really set up to be real. I'm gonna just keep it 100. The
Mm-hmm.
system is set up in a way that they don't want us all to come together. Because if
No,
we all come
no.
together, they already understand that we have the power. If we
Yeah,
come
we gonna
together,
be too
we
powerful,
will have the power, and
baby.
it will shut down a lot of things.
Yes.
And so it's systematically set up for us, quote unquote, to not work together.
Right. So a lot of the people that you just named, right? Um, are they on your page? Can people contact you and connect with you
Yeah,
so
they
you
most
can
of
help
them
lead
are
them to them
well.
contacts?
Natalie don't have a Facebook page. She was like, oh, I don't want that. But she has people. She has people that are part of her team
Okay.
that are on Facebook. Like Babette is amazing.
Okay.
Babette Reed, she works with Nat, and so she's on Facebook. Farrakhan Green he's on Facebook, and shout out to Nat because she just got a well-deserved certificate
That's
from
out.
award
Yes.
from the city, so well-deserved. She
Yes.
need more.
Yes.
There's so many people just doing great things, and I just got a meeting with Minister Khalif. I love him. If I call him, he'll be like, Mama Farina, why you wait till the last minute? I'll be like, I know, I'm sorry. But he do the best he can, but he
Right.
always come through for me. And so,
Right.
he said, but Mama Farina, you always looking out for me too. But that's what it's all about. We're supposed,
Yep.
until we learn that we need to look out for each other and put everything else aside, I don't know. But for me,
Right.
that's me, that's my heart, and that's what I thrive on, because I really want to see unity
Right.
in
So
the
when it
community.
comes to you, then, since you said that, I know you said you don't see what other people see when we talking all these great things about you, but there is something you have to be proud of. You came from that space where you was a little girl, and then you had that growth, and now you out here giving that love. You gave that love to yourself. Now you're giving that love to the community. Out of all of that, right?
Mhm.
What is one thing that you are proud of personally?
I just thought about it not long ago, and I told my daughter and my grandson, I said, I just realized that what I'm doing is a legacy.
Yes.
I'm leaving a legacy. My daughter said, "Ma, I am not moving back to Milwaukee." I said, "Baby, you're not moving back to Milwaukee." My grandson said, "Nana, I don't even live there." I said, "Y'all don't have to move back to Milwaukee."
No.
I said, "We have a board, and they are here."
Yes.
But I don't want the legacy to die. And
Right.
it's not about me personally.
Yes.
The legacy is building, networking with other
Yes.
people. You know, like Saquana Taylor, like Lena Taylor, like
Right.
Nephew Bond Mates, like all these other people, Charlotte Moore, all of them, like, that's important.
Right.
And so now that we have gotten this far, and the goal is to move even further, and I'm going to say this and I'm going to shut up. Last year we started uh, a thing where we take young people to visit colleges.
Oh.
So we took 3 youth to Nashville last year, myself, Saquana, Nephew by Mays, a couple other people. We took them to Nashville because that's where Saquana's son is.
Okay.
And so he set it up where they could visit 3 HBCU colleges. And I raised $500 for each one. They didn't know that they were going to get half of that money. They didn't know nothing about that part. And so we were able to give them money to spend while they were there. And then we told them that now you are the leaders. So now you guys have got to come up with where you want to go.
Right.
So we're supposed to go to Howard University this year because that's where they said they wanted to go.
Oh, let's go.
And then we have a scholarship that we do in honor of one of our young people that was shot and killed.
Yes.
So we do a scholarship in his honor, started last year. So this will be our 2nd year for that. So it's more than just giving out groceries. It's about pouring back into our young people.
Oh my God, that's my next. That's literally my next question.
Yeah.
You a podcaster?
No.
Oh, you just flowing right on
No.
to it, right on
No.
with it. So, winding up, right? The last question, right? Who or what are you really pouring into? And you was just about to get into it. She's pouring back.
Pouring into, the youth, young people, because people say they're our future, they're our future, but they're not our future. They are our now.
Correct. Yep. They
And
are
if we
present.
don't get to understand them and help them to understand that they are somebody,
Right.
and that they can have things and they can do things against the odds, then we won't have a future of
Right.
generation of young people. And so
Yep.
that's my hardest, working with young people and older people and everybody. But
Yes.
I know that the young people, like s- sometimes the things they do, we look at them as, they just don't want to do no better.
Yep.
But if you
Yep.
really talk to them, whew, I
They
talked to this
helping us do better.
man, I talked to this young man one day, and it just blew my mind because he literally, really, what he said, he really thought that was truth.
Right.
I said to him, I said, young man, um, I just sympathize with y'all because, the way y'all come up with this way to steal cars and all that. I said, you know what, young man, there's some
Use that a
positive
different
that you
way.
can do. And I
Yes.
said, because I don't want to see you in a casket. I said, because I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know you. I just met you, but it will bring tears to my eyes.
Right.
And the young man looked at me, and he was sincere. And he said, no, you won't, because you ain't going to know it's me. I said, why would you say that? He said, because I'm going to have a mask on. I said, young man, no, that's not how it works, baby.
Right. It's
When you
deeper
get
than that.
killed, your family have to identify you.
Yep.
You will
It's
not have
deeper
on a
than that.
mask.
Yep.
And he just looked at me. And I said, wow, like,
Mm.
he really didn't understand.
Nope. It's a lot of things that younger people don't understand. Heck, even me, I'm still learning and I'm still understanding a lot of things from, like I said, from the older generation, my generation, and even the younger generation. But it again, it's the unity. It's we all coming together and making a
Yes.
difference.
Yes.
And you is a prime example, and we need you out here. And again, we're thanking you. I'm thanking
Oh,
you
oh,
personally for doing what you do,
thank you.
literally.
Thank you.
And come on, my older family, my older generation. We can connect with her. Allow yourself to get out here and share your story and help the youth and help my generation do something different so that we can change our communities because we need it. We
Yeah, we got to
definitely
change the
need it.
narrative. We definitely got to change the narrative. We got to start now.
Yes. All right, you guys. We wrapping this up. So I want you to tell everybody again, how can they find you if they need that support, they need that love, they need that good energy and vibes, they need that food or that
Okay.
shelter, whatever it is that they need. How can they contact you and your people?
So we do have a Facebook page, Dream Team United WI. We're also on Instagram. We're also on LinkedIn. And I forget what else. We're on most of social media. We do
Okay.
have a website. I think it's dreamteamunited.org. Um, we also have, you can reach out to the my personal phone number is 414-839-9481, which they say I shouldn't give my personal number. Hey, it
Oh,
is what it is.
personal
And
connections.
but if you go to our page, you'll see the number on there. And our email is dreamteammke@gmail.com. Any of those ways you can connect. Sometimes if you hit our Gmail, you might not get an answer like today,
Right.
but you might get an answer today.
Right.
So we actually just started a pantry 2 days a week, um, in collaboration with community Miss and Peace Community Collective. Um, it's 3248 West Brown. The pantry is Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 to
Okay.
12.
Yeah, right on.
And so, if you want, and anybody that comes to our stuff, no, we don't ask you for no ID. That's not, we don't care nothing about your ID.
Right.
We don't care nothing about your income. We ain't gonna ask you nothing about that because it doesn't really matter.
All
You
right.
can make 10 digit If you can even make that much,
Right.
that don't mean you don't have no food in your house.
Right. All right, y'all. Y'all heard her Tuesday and Thursday.
And we need our young people to come and volunteer because when you volunteer, we can give you a letter, and so it looks good for you. Like when you get ready to go to college, things like that, you got to
Yes.
start young.
Right.
Start giving back to the community because it means a lot. It will help you in the long run. And some of the people that's a part of the team can, sometimes we kind of throw a little extra stuff in there to help out of different other kind of ways, We do,
Right.
because of, the people that's a part of it. So, because we love our young people, we just want them to thrive, and we want them to know that they can thrive.
All right, y'all. So again, let's tap in, you guys. Let's give the love to the community. Let's network. Let's build these connections, especially with our youth. Encourage them to get out here and volunteer so that they can have these type of things that they can look back on. Not only that, but that they can use. Miss Deanna, she was on the show a couple weeks ago. And she talks about bringing the village back, right? So it takes a village, you guys. So if y'all haven't seen her podcast, go check her out, y'all, because it really does take that village.
Yes, it does.
And we all need to come together, no matter who you are, no matter what you went through, what you're going through. We all need to be here for each other.
That's right.
So with that being said, you guys, check out Deanna's podcast. We're going to go ahead and show you a link, or give you her commercial, I should say. And then until next time, thank you all for joining us. And this is Love, Strength, Strength, and Love.
Peace.
Well, it ain't going.
Hey family, guess what? Episode 2 of It Takes a Village is done and in the books. It will be dropping soon. And I just want to share my appreciation with you all. The comments, the feedback, you answering those questions. Oh, it was amazing. And you know what? Some of those questions will be in this new episode. And we're going to show what you guys answered. We're going to show that feedback live. So again, thank you so much, family, and see you soon.